What's going on, everyone? This is Chris around the ATL impromptu show. This is actually not a show, really. I tried to do a live on Twitter and it just would not let me do it. You couldn't hear me basically. And I experimented and I actually pulled it up while I was online because I was at home by chance and it won't let me. So I'm doing it here from the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Give me a moment. I'm gonna see if I can post this on a couple other pages since this is kind of impromptu. On the air. Let's see, defense and the Atlanta Hawks. See if I catch a couple people. I'll post this later. And actually, I've actually discussed this on a few previous episodes. One of them being, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I actually named them. I think I named them. Maybe I deleted it already. But I did a couple of episodes in the past about this subject. One of them was, okay, here we go. One of them was, let's see, missing games and missing shots. Another one was defensive rating. Okay. And I'm going to talk about I'm going to try to compile all this up at once because I got to go now. I'm home only because I was pulling a piece of furniture up 3 flights of stairs. And then I had to go back down and get some more furniture. And I was winded and I was sitting down and then I saw a tweet. And one of those things was in regards to defensive rating. Basically, the comment was defense wins championships, and 86% of the last 25 years of NBA champions were top 12 in defense. And then I got a response, well, who would you replace on the Hawks, right? And I was given some defensive ratings of some players. And that's actually not what I said. I said we need to add accordingly. Okay, if we're going to continue to improve, we got to do that. Now, again, if you watch any of my past episodes, you know that I break stuff down using game footage and actual game results over a period of time. And one of the things I talk about is defensive rating don't really tickle my fancy as much as who gives up the most points each night. Okay, and so the response to that was, well, Trae is never Trae, because I said Trae Young is never the one giving up the most points. And then the response was, well, that's because he's never on the best offensive player. Now, here's the deal, okay? Think about this. Why would you put Trae on the best offensive player if he's not the best defensive player on your team? Why wouldn't you want to put the best defensive player on the best offensive player on the other team? Right? Is Luka ever on the best offensive player on the other team? Oh, by the way, everybody scores on Luka though, right? See, there's the other part of it. If Trae Young is actually that bad on defense, whoever he guards should be able to score on him all the time. People should be scoring on Trae no matter who it is, right? If that's the premise. But see, the problem with that premise is it's just not true, because guess what? Trae does give effort. Trae does get steals. Trae takes the ball from people. He gets stops. He's a team leader on charges taken. The person who is supposed to be our best defender over the years, Trae Young has double the amount of steals and blocks than that person who's no longer here anymore. I said we need to add accordingly. We've already done some of it. Addition by subtraction. DJ, terrible defensive player. Shooting guards were scoring 30 points a game against us. With DJ here, who wasn't playing no defense. He had a 119 defensive rating. If you believe in defensive ratings, you can't believe in one and not believe in another. And he's supposed to be better at defense, right? Look at the defensive ratings of all of our players from the 2023 season. And you'll see that for yourself, okay? But Trae Young doesn't have an expectation of being the best defender on the team. But he's not the worst. He's not the one who gives up the most points when he's on the floor. Remember, you got players who do get on Trae Young because someone leaves their man and Trae has to pick up. Or you have substitution patterns that where Trae has to pick up, or just fast breaks and things of that nature. Trae Young isn't giving up all the points each night simply because, guess what? He's a point guard. Shooting guards and small forwards score the most points against us. So who's guarding them? Why would you want Trae Young on Anthony Edwards? Why would you want Trae Young on Jason Tatum? Does that make any sense to anybody to say that? Like for real, for real? Who's guarding Luke? Who's guarding Luka for that matter? But who's guarding Wemby? Who's guarding Joker? Who's guarding Sabonis? Who's guarding Porzingis? Who's guarding Joel Embiid? Trae Young is supposed to guard those guys? That doesn't make sense. Who's James Harden ever guarded in his life? No one says nothing. He's scoring 40 points a game. No one says a word. And all the other scorers in NBA history who wasn't studying guarding nobody because that wasn't their job. Their job was to score. But now with Trae, he has to be the only defender on the team. And that's what I was talking about last year. Trae Young missed 28 games. Who was defending at that point? Because you don't have Trae Young out there as an excuse anymore. And we were still giving up 125 plus points a game. I showed it to y'all. I broke it down. I broke down every game that he missed. The final score, the top leading scorers of the other team, points in the paint given up, second chance point given up, fast break points given up, and how many three-pointers we gave up. Why wasn't there a drastic discrepancy with Trae Young not on the floor if Trae Young was the problem? But what other teams do is, okay, he's not that great a defender. We need to put some defenders around him. That's what Dallas did last year for Luka. At the trade deadline, they got Gafford and they got P.J. Washington, and their defense improved, and they got them to the Western Conference Finals. Couldn't do nothing in the finals, though, of course, because they ran into the juggernaut of juggernauts on defense. But Luka has made 5 straight All-NBA teams not playing no defense, and no one says a word till last year in the finals where it was on stage of everybody. That doesn't make any sense. All I say is call it evenly. Trae Young isn't a defender like all these other people might be. Like, he's not Gary Payton. But he's not the worst. And he's improved every year he's been in the league. Okay? Again, he has 10 blocks. Hunter had 5. Whole season. He had 61 steals at a certain point in time before the trade. Hunter had 31. That's double. Hunter has never rebounded his position. He ain't small. He ain't weak. 4 or less rebounds every game. Hunter is never he was never a leader on defense on his own team for 5 seasons. He was never a leader in any category. Not blocks, not steals, not deflections, not charges taken, nothing. He's supposed to be the best defender, but small forwards are averaging 27 points a game against us. But no, Trae is supposed to guard the point guard, the shooting guard, the small forward, the power forward, and the center on the opposing team. That doesn't make any logical sense, folks. Doesn't make any logical sense at all. Okay? So let's just get that out there first and foremost. Okay? So when I was talking about adding accordingly, I'm talking about some of the other players like Garrison Matthews who can't stop nobody. He gives up regularly 3 or 4 threes on his own. That's 9, 12 points right there. That's a lot of difference in the game when your team loses close games. Isn't it? Yes. Right? We still need a 7-foot strong man out there to be a deterrent at the rim every night. Not just once in a while. Every night. We need a post defender every night. And so that person, if they had some size, that would accomplish that. Yes, Mohamed Gay had 4 blocks the other night. Can he do that every night? I don't know. He's not playing every night. Okongwu is decent at blocking shots. He's good at post defense because he can move his feet. He knows what he's doing in there. Does he do it every night? Sometimes. But the size part, again, he's 6'8". If someone decides to just shoot over the top, he can't block that shot. You see what I'm saying? He can only block a shot if somebody decides to, do their post moves, get down low, bump, and then they try to and then he beats them to the spot and he gets a block like that. But for the people who got the wingspan, they just turn, shoot over him. He's not blocking that shot. He's not blocking Joker. He's not blocking Wemby. You see what I'm saying? So we need someone who can deter a shot regularly, and we don't have that on our team. So that's something that we need to add. It's something that we should have been added 10 years ago, and we still don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So Terrence Mann is a defender on our team. We've added accordingly. Terrence Mann is a defender. We already had Dyson, obviously. Okay? So that's what I said. That's what I meant by that. Okay? Now, the other part I'm going to talk about real quick, and again, I've talked about this on previous shows. Just go and look on IMTM Worldwide Radio on YouTube, and you watch some of these, is the missing of shots. Trae Young leads the NBA in 21 potential assists a game. The reason being because we miss a lot of open shots. He creates a wide open shot, and we missed them. He had 19 assists last night, didn't he? 19. He should have had close to 30. You see what I'm saying? But we just miss wide open shots. Okay. So again, that goes back into, do we have enough shot makers on this team? Why don't we have a team full of people who can hit shots every night like other teams have hitting against us every night? Because we always seem to go up against teams that have people who hit shots on a regular basis every single game, not just once in a while. You see what I'm saying? Now, again, the trade deadline brought us some guys who can hit more shots than what we've been used to during this season. It's helped out a lot, but we're still not quite there yet. Again, center position, someone who can actually hit a three 40% would be helpful right now, wouldn't it? Vucevic being on our team, averaging 20 and 10, and Okongwu coming off the bench would be very helpful right now. Why we didn't go out and get him, I'll never know. Okay. Ayton, not a great three-point shooter, but he can hit all the other shots inside and finish at the rim, right? And again, John Collins, power forward. He could have replaced JJ for the time being. 18 and 8 player, 45% from three right now. Pretty good. He had one bad shooting season at the three, not everywhere else, right? And he finishes at the basket higher than anybody on our team, 70+% most of the time, right? We didn't go get that. So that's a position where we can bolster ourselves. A big that can do those things because they're all over the NBA. We just don't have one. We got all kind of 7-footers out there that can either finish proficiently at the rim, 65% or higher, or they can hit a baseline 10-foot jumper. They can hit a turnaround fadeaway jumper. They can hit a three-pointer from the corner, from the top of the key. They can get the ball at the top of the free throw line, turn around and shoot it and hit that shot. They're all over the league. We just don't have that. Why is the answer. Okay, because when it comes to missing shots, we miss a lot of shots. We lost another game by 1 point this season just cause. Now, most of that was because of free throws, though. Everybody missing free throws. Trae missed 2 himself, but that's just 2. We missed like 13. So who missed all the other free throws? You see what I'm saying? Like that's something else that has to be fixed somehow. The year before, we lost 21 plus games by 7 points or less. Think about that. Now, I haven't caught up this year and seen what it is so far, but I'm sure we've lost at least 5 by 5 points or less already. That's not good. And most of that is either because of free throws and or just wide open missed shots. And I might do a review of last night's game. There are games where we leave between 25 and 40 points a game on the board from missed shots generated by Trae. Again, he leads the NBA in 21 potential assists, and he's getting 12. That's what? 10 more assists? 10 more shots. And again, do you want Trae to just start shooting? He could, you know. He only has like 15 games all season where he shot 20 or more times. He's passing the ball 64 or more times every game. So again, whether it be shot making, whether it be having a couple more defenders, whether it be people just hitting free throws, um, again, it's we need to add, and we haven't added like the other teams have added over the same 7 years. Like the New York Knicks have a completely different team since 2020. They have revamped the whole entire roster, and that's why they're top three team in the East. What have the Hawks done since 2020? They've done the exact opposite of that, right? And we see it in the record. It was almost as if, man, we got to slow this team down from being successful. They made the Eastern Conference Finals, were 2 wins away from getting to the NBA Finals. Let's go backwards now on purpose. That's what our owner said. Actions speak louder than words, as far as I'm concerned, right? So, again, when I talk about adding some more defense, I'm not talking about taking away anybody who's already here. That's the core. I'm not talking about getting rid of Okongwu. I'm not talking about getting rid of Dyson. I'm not talking about getting rid. Let me see who else. Let me see who else it was. Wasn't talking about getting rid of. Doopy 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 doo. Oh, I can't find it now. Where is that? I can't find it now. Did it get deleted? Well, I guess it got. I don't. Oh, there it is. I'm not talking about getting rid of Okongwu. I'm not getting rid of Dyson. I'm not getting rid of Zach. I'm not getting rid of Jalen Johnson, obviously. Okay. Well, what I am saying is we need to add. We need to continue to add. We don't know what we're keeping from these 3 players that we just got. We don't know if we're signing all 3 of those long term, right? So let's pretend that we're not. And we need to continue to add. Because if we don't keep them, that's 3 extra players. Remember, we're also missing Kobe, who shouldn't be a Hawk anymore. Sorry, he can't stay healthy, right? We're missing Nance, right? And Nance is not the best defender either. Nance gives up a lot of points. Nance gives up 14, 15 points coming off the bench. You see what I'm saying? A lot of nights. I've shown it to y'all. Okay, I do the reviews. I do the breakdowns. Okay. Trae is not giving up the most points because he's simply guarding the worst offensive player on the other team, which is not always the truth. Who is he guarding when we play the Cavs? You see what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Like, who is he playing when we play Boston? Who is he playing when we play the Knicks? You see what I'm saying? But if Trae Young is still not giving up the most points in the game, then what are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? And then again, why would you want Trae on the best offensive player on the other team? Trae is 6'1". Just his size negates that. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. But what Trae does do is give you effort. Yes, he has his dumb moments where he just kind of whiffs, but not more than some of the other players we've had on the team in the past. And I can show you it on video, okay? You see what I'm saying? And Trae makes up for it for his production as well. Like I always say, if you can't stop nobody, you got to score and produce on the other side. If you can't score and produce, you got to stop somebody. But it can't be neither of those things, right? That makes sense, right? James Harden don't defend, but he was giving you 35 a night. You got to kind of shrug your shoulders at a certain point. Dominique Wilkins wasn't known as a defender, but you know what? He'd give you 30 a night at any given time. Might give you 50. Was Dominique Wilkins supposed to stop Patrick Ewing? I posted this on my Twitter page. There's a game from 1991, Hawks versus Knicks. Dominique Wilkins had 52. Kevin Willis had 20, and the next leading scorer on the Hawks was 12, Blair Rasmussen. Patrick Ewing had 42 points in that game. Who was guarding Patrick? Was Dominique Wilkins supposed to take that challenge? By the way, Gerald Wilkins had 26 in that game, that same game, 1991. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here at a certain point? It needs to be emphasized because, again, it's an issue. It's an issue that needs to. I'm reading the response to Very Genius PhD. He said, worst defense rating guarding the worst defensive play. We'll see. Well, let's see. I'm actually responding in real time. DJ was 119 defensive rating last year. SGs scored 30 a night against us. Small forwards averaged 27 points against us. It's bad whole team, but that's why you surround your players with those that are better at defense, like Dallas did for Luka last year. So yeah, I gotta go because now I gotta go pick up my mom. But again, watch some of the videos that I've done, the episodes that I've done, because I go and use game footage. Go look at the San Antonio game that I broke down. Go watch that game. Go watch that whole game. I show you shot for shot. When I do game reviews, full game reviews using game footage, I show you shot for shot how the other team scored against the Atlanta Hawks. Okay. I did start at the beginning of this season and I got really busy because my new show was coming out. By the way, make sure you listen 7 o'clock tonight on Sports Visions 92.1 FM on the TuneIn app. We're talking about the trade deadline and a whole bunch of other stuff. But at the beginning of this season, I did up to the second Washington Wizards game. And then last year, I did the last 8 games of the 2023 season. And I showed you shot for shot how teams were scoring on us, guys. And it's startling when you look at it, who is scoring and who is not stopping nobody. Because again, you can't have it both ways. Trae is not the best defender, so we put him on the least hurtful person on offense on the other side. So what is everybody else's excuse then? You see what I'm saying? Because if all those other players are scoring and Trae's guy is not scoring, what is Trae supposed to do about that? You see the logic in that? It don't make sense to try to keep making that a big deal. And again, Trae does hurt us with his turnovers. Again, we don't lose the games where he gets 4 or 5 turnovers. But the games he having 8, 9 turnovers, those definitely hurt us more. Because now they're probably scoring a little bit more if they get 8, 9 turnovers out of Trae rather than 4 or 5. Because a lot of the games where he gives up 4 or 5 turnovers, they don't score on all those turnovers. They're not like they're scoring 25 points a game off of turnovers on just Trae Young. Okay? That's just not happening either. I've shown that as well over time. But those close games, it does come into play. If he gets 8, yeah. If he gets 8 and they score on 6 of them, that's 12 points right there that shouldn't have happened, right? Now, at the same time, if they're bonehead turnovers, yeah. But if they're in the scheme of passing the ball, he's trying to get the ball to somebody, I'm not going to worry about some of those because some of those are attributed to him, even though it's the person who he passed the ball to. They just dropped the ball or it went out of bounds and they give it to Trae for some reason. I don't know about that. Don't know how that works. Don't know why they do that, but whatever. But like I said, Magic Johnson averaged 4 turnovers for his career. And Luka is right up there with Trae as well. Kay Cunningham is at 4.6 turnovers a game also. He just has a better team around him to mitigate that a little bit, right? We've had how many people injured this season? Literally, we went into the game of New York last night down 7 people basically that used to be on our, or was on our roster at one point in time, right? Kobe, JJ, gone for the season. Nance and Vitt just recently hurt, right? That's 4 players. Clint still not playing for whatever reason. That's 5. And we just traded Hunter and Bogey. Now, of course, we got 3 other players back, but we're shorthanded, right? And we lost that game in New York by 1 point in overtime against a favorite to win the East. A favorite. So that tells you a lot right there about our team and competing. Okay, I gotta go. So watch some of those previous episodes. Like I said, some of them. Let's see if I'll read them out to you again. Make sure you watch the one that says facts have to matter. Missing games, missing shots, and defensive rating. Watch those episodes on the IMTM Worldwide Radio page, wherever you're watching this at. Make sure I put it in the notes or whatnot. Again, make sure you listen to 92.1 FM Sports Visions on TuneIn app. Tonight at 7 o'clock in the next episode of Around the ATL will be playing. We'll be talking about the trade deadline in detail. We're also going to be talking about Atlanta VOD, the volleyball team, little Columbus Dragons hockey, some high school basketball as well. We do a lot in 30 minutes. I still don't know how we pull it off, but eventually we'll be getting our 2-hour show. Hopefully that'll be sooner than later because it's hard to do a full show in 30 minutes. It's tough, but we're pulling it off. We also plan on starting to do our 2-hour show again here on YouTube. So look for that. Make sure you share that with people. The initial plan was we were going to do the 30-minute show and then right after do a 2-hour show, but that was doing too much. So we're just trying to figure out when we could do a 2-hour show in the same week we do the 30-minute show that airs on Thursday. We just have to figure out the timing of that, but we're getting there. We're getting close. But in the meantime, let me get out of here for now. Make sure, again, you follow on Twitter, Intellect ATL. You can follow on Instagram or Facebook, IMTM Worldwide Radio. Of course, like I said, subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page. It's been scrolling down there at the bottom trying to hypnotize you. But yeah, like I said, the Hawks just need to continue to add pieces to compete for a championship because that has to be the verbiage, compete for a championship. We got one of the best players in the NBA, best point guards in history on our team, and we're not utilizing them as we could, as full we could. We missed too many shots, wide open shots, y'all. That's a lot of points we leave on the board. Again, Trae Young should not be leading the league for the second straight year in potential assists a game. Since he's been drafted, he has been 6th or higher in that category. That's ridiculous. Let's get him some people who can hit shots every night. Because if we did that, we would stop leaving 25 to 40 points on the board every night. And a lot of that is in the fourth quarter sometimes. Okay? Again, when you go back and actually watch every shot, it's crazy how many missed shots we have that are open because Trae Young created the shot. I just need you to hit it now. And he keeps passing it no matter what. He keeps passing it no matter what, right? So let's see if we can get some pieces as far as that goes. And again, on the defensive side, why can't we get a 3-block-a-game guy every game? They're out there in the NBA. We just don't have them, right? Why can't we have that, right? We got Dyson Daniels as a wing. Why can't we have multiple guys who can play defense really well? Why not? OKC has it. You see what I'm saying? Boston has it, right? So why can't the Hawks have a little bit of element of that? It needs to be either or. We either have a few more guys who can hit shots all the time, or we have a few more guys who can get some stops for us. One or the other. Because that's how close we are. That's how we're very close right now. You see what I'm saying? But again, we got to get bigger. again, with those, I think Jamal on New Pack City on Twitter was mentioning how we didn't get the rebound. And if you were listening to Steve Holman on 92.9 The Game, he was saying the same thing. He was like, man, we got the stop, but we couldn't get the rebound. And then I think Precious put it back in. And if we had stopped that bucket, we would have won in regulation, I believe. Those 2 points, it counted, right? By the way, special guest Steve Holman will be on the next episode of Around the ATL. So make sure, again, you're listening, you're watching. Don't miss that, because that's going to be a cool all-star break interview with Steve Holman, who knows everything about Hawks basketball. In the meantime, let me get out of here. I'll talk to y'all another time. Peace.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect, around the ATL. Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect. This is ATL, you know we stay lit. Always united, check the new kit. Home of the praise, yeah, we on deck. We fly like a bird, like them hawks, check. Soaring through the city, rise up, dirty birds. All we do is win, losing's a dirty word. Selling out them seats, the city is on blast. Gotta get your tickets, cause they selling out